Good morning. It's 6:31. In 6 days time, I will be on my way to work in this stupid weather. But okay, 6:31 in the morning, and the sun is not even out in the horizon. My leg hurts because I have been walking in the wrong shoes, I believe, and so my legs hurt. But we still move, because this is what discipline is. It's not when it's convenient alone. No. It is when it's inconvenient. It is when it's uncomfortable, when it's painful. You do it anymore. I've decided that I'm walking. Last night I didn't, but this morning, I am. Anyway, I want to explain, because that's my gift. I'm a teacher, professionally and otherwise. I teach, I explain, and it makes sense. And so this morning, I'm going to explain something about life that a lot of people have been given a distorted view on. And so it causes people unnecessary pain. It allows people to fool themselves and others around them. And it ends up in an absolute mess. So I'm hoping that this video and its understanding will help baseline things for you. You need to baseline your reality. And when you do so, you are unstoppable. You can make progress. And Maureen, good morning. I just woke. So you will see streak marks around my mouth. I probably haven't washed my face properly and all those things, but none of them matter. Yeah. Richie, how you doing? Life is funny. You hear people talk, and when they talk, you realize that they have no idea about some of the fundamentals of life. Look, you are here to look out for yourself. I am here to look out for me. Yeah? I see many people. So this guy is telling me a long sub story about him and a woman that he's engaging with. And he's so heartbroken because at the end of the day, she was using me. And he's busy crying about it. So I asked him, how old are you? 53. And in 53 years, nobody told you the simple thing? And you yourself didn't see it? You didn't observe it? You didn't learn it? Okay, let me tell you. Everybody, everything is done because of some benefit to everyone, including you. You are with that lady, and some people will say to you, I'm not there for his money. I'm just there for the feeling. Well, I'm sorry. You are there for the feeling. The feeling is the reason why you are there. You are after something. Some of you spend your money on your children like I do. It is still something you want. You want to feel fulfilled as a parent. You want to feel like you've done your job. You want to feel like a good person. It is a feeling that you are after. You do it because of that. Some people do it because they want you to owe them. Yeah, some people are technical. Some people are tactical. Some people are Machiavellian like that. You do it because... Alright. You do it because you want to feel good. Everything is transactional, my dear. I love my husband. But I love my husband also for some reasons. We cannot run away from it. He says he loves me. I think he likes me. Maybe both applicable. But he loves me, he likes me for some reasons. If those reasons were absent, if those reasons were to vacate, the game may change. The game may change. I was jokingly telling you guys that if they had made a mechanic out of my husband, I would never have married him. And he jokingly responded that we would never have met because he would not have come anywhere near the university. And when we had this conversation, a person was in my inbox telling me how sad that was. Like, well, then buy a lot of tissues, because life itself is very sad if that is the viewpoint you want to adopt, because that is the fundamentals of life. He's right. My husband was reading who I am, and he was reading the circles that I would operate in, and he was reporting back on where he knew was the only place I would have been operating in the university. I would. And he knew my values and how they were placed. And no, I would not be with somebody unequally yoked. I needed to be with a person who was going in the sort of direction I was going, who could foster my agenda and I could foster their agenda. And this is what the smart people actually learn and begin to do. Yeah. The silly ones pretend this is not the case, or the silly ones, the ignorant ones do not know this is the case. And so you go out in life not realizing that it's about balancing. It is an interdependence game. You bring something to the table, I bring something to the table, and we both leverage off the things that we've put on the table to our advancement, to our improvement, to feel like this is a worthy transaction, and then we will all feel good about it. Yeah. It is up to you to determine the value you expect, the value you insist on, and you seek it and you find it in others. No one marries another person for no reason. You do not. For some of you, you marry the person because she's gorgeous. Happy New Year, Nia says. Is that Joyce? What to say? Nobody marries nobody for no reason. That's just not how life works. We all marry people for some reason. You date them for some reason. You like them for some reason. Most of us run away from that reason. Most of us pretend that reason does not exist. And then we make noise. You marry people for some reason. I married my husband because of the qualities he had. That fits with the feelings that I like to have. And even in this marriage, we have negotiated adjustments to the way we behave and act in order to get the feelings that we want. And that is part of what sustains what goes on. Blessings, Sister Kim. I have missed you. It's good to see you. Nobody marries nobody for no reason. Don't let anybody tell you that nonsense, and certainly don't buy into it. It's foolishness. You marry somebody for some reason. You like people for some reason. Sometimes you like a person because of what they do. Sometimes you like a person because of how they act. Sometimes you like a person because of where they are. You like a person for some reasons, and the most important thing, regardless of whether it is what they do, who they are, where they are, what the baseline is, how that then makes you feel, how that then affects you, is why you choose that person. I'm a gold digger. I am going to go after a man who has money. I am interested in him only because of his money. That money is important because that money influences my social standing. It influences my ability to buy. It influences the life I live and the comforts I have available to me. That's why I like it. When he gives me the things that I need, I think he's kind because he makes me feel loved. He makes me feel like he values me. And so on. Honey, even that love is conditional. That's what I'm telling you this morning. Life itself is conditional. Stop fooling yourself. And stop fooling other people. And stop letting people fool you. It is all conditional. If my husband were to this day decide that he is stupid and does not care about his health, and he decides to frolic in other women nyash, I will sit down tactically and I will think he will still be the same man. He will be as kind as he always has been. He will be all the things that he will still be as tall as he is. He will still be the guy who laughs. But the condition changes. The game changes. The minute I think my health is at stake. For some people, it's not even the health. Some people, it's the pride. Some people, it is whatever. But the minute that condition changes, the outcome will change. It is all conditional. A woman will be aggrieved. The video I made about women who get aggrieved and they stay. She will be aggrieved. Her spirit will be angry with you. But you see, the important condition of rent that she's unable to pay. That simple inability to pay rent, will affect the decisions she makes. Her inability to pay rent will teach her patience that the rest of us don't have. That's the thing a lot of you make noise about. And some women are able to forgive. They do not. The conditions dictate. They do not. Some women are able to forget Guinea. They forget nothing. The conditions prevailing will teach you common sense beyond some things. Children's school fees, will stabilize some of your feelings very quickly. And so I made a video and I was telling you, sometimes it's their family background, but those are part of the conditions. It is all conditional. I don't like a woman who likes me for a reason. Nobody will like you for no reason. People will like you for different reasons. Some of those reasons obvious, others not. But everybody likes you for a reason. And people don't like you for a reason. Right now, a lot of my peripheral family members love me. They love me. What do they love? They don't even love me because they don't know me. Some of them have not spoken to me for decades. Some of them have never spoken to me. They love me. They love the concept of me. They love coming on the internet to see this free spirit talking. They love seeing some things that I do that they interpret in a way. A lot of them interpret it to think I'm successful. And even that word successful is quite subjective. But yeah. And because success is a concept that breeds support. The ones who were close to me, they were close to me. And their reason for liking me was either me or how close they were to my parents. And those people, they've been loyal to me. They have supported me and championed me a long time ago, before I became anybody. Those ones, they liked me for their reasons. The new wave of supporters, especially peripheral family members who support me, they like it because they have found somebody they are associated with who many of them think has found fame. I laugh. I was talking to a very distant, long distance cousin's child. We have a famous person in the family. I'm like, do you even know your family? If you knew your family, you would find all these other famous people. Let me give you a list of them. If fame is what you want to connect with, these are the people you want to connect with. Let me give you their names. Such a person is famous. Such a person is rich. Such a person is important. Such a person is intelligent. Hey. And I gave that person a list. That person will love some of those people as her family. And the reason why she will love them is because she is looking to connect with success. That is her condition. She's looking to connect with success. And so if you are successful, if you look like you will be successful, if they calculate and can smell success around you, they will go with you. And that's how a lot of the women from my neck of the woods choose. They either choose somebody who is already successful, in which case we call them gold diggers, or they do what I did. And that one fools a lot of people also. No, when I met my husband, he was nothing. He was a young boy. But you better know that I didn't choose any useless young boy I saw on the street. No. There were some men I knew would be more successful, but they had not the values that I hoped to experience. Many of the men, and especially the ones who have moved into high business and have moved into politics, I knew they could not be loyal, or even attempt to be loyal, or even pretend to be loyal. There was a friend of mine who says, as for me, I can't do the one-woman thing. And the minute I knew he couldn't do the one-woman thing, it did not matter how we vibed. It did not matter how we vaped. We could even vape. It didn't matter. For me, any conversation around going anywhere, doing anything with that person closed that day. It is all conditional, baby. When I met my husband, in my assessment, we had to put the money to one side and ask myself, is this guy one who fits in your frame of important factors? Will he work hard for himself? He didn't strike me as the one who worked the hardest because he came from a background which was not too empty. People who come from backgrounds where there is a little bit of money, they are not too hungry, so they are not really pursuing aggressively. I looked at it, I was like, hey, okay, fine. Is he a gentleman? Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, that's important to me. These are some of my conditions. Is he a gentleman? Yeah. Is he approachable? Yeah. Does he like me? Absolutely. Does he get along with me? Absolutely. Is he likely to be able to forgive me if I goof? Yeah. Do I like him enough to be able to forgive him if he goofs? Yeah. Okay, he doesn't have money, but yeah, he'll finish a degree, won't he? Yeah. And we'll both get a job, won't we? Yeah. And I'm a hard-working girl, aren't I? Yeah. Do I need his money as the determinant? No. Can I make my own money? Hell yes. And as I was playing through my conditions, some people were going up in the score, other people were going down in the score. They were all determined by my conditions. I wanted a guy who will live and let me live. I knew even at that time that I had superb talents, that I had the capacities to go far in life and to do things. And my condition was that I needed a guy who was confident enough to let me go and not attempt to restrict, to let me be and not hold back. I looked at them and I tried to identify the guy who was not going to be jealous if I got something. It turns out I was very good in sussing most of the things that were part of my conditions, but those were my conditions. The money was not my condition. For some other women, the money is the condition because she knows that she herself does not have the capacity or does not have the desire to go work for herself. So they want already made men. That's why they want the men. That's her condition. It's not my condition because it doesn't fit my circumstances. I knew that I could make money. And so I didn't need a rich guy. I didn't want one. In order for me to be able to go and work and do, I needed to make bold decisions. And I needed a guy who will support my bold decisions and not be afraid. Who would do things that people will laugh at and would not care. Who cared about me enough to ride a storm with me. Those were my conditions. But there were conditions too. It doesn't make me any different from the woman who comes and wants to have a guy with 6 mansions, and we all come with sets of conditions. If you meet the condition, we roll. If you don't meet the condition, we doesn't. In fact, we didn't. And this basic premise is alien to some of you. Please explain. Why don't you understand this? This is very similar to the video I made last night about people doing them because of, we all have our reasons. This morning, I'm on this camera. I've not done makeup. I have my reasons for not making up. it doesn't make me any better than the one who has made up. She has her reasons for making up. If you are not into her reasons for making up, bounce. If you like this straight-faced nonsense, come. You also need to understand this straight-faced nonsense has some fundamentals. I was telling you. No, it doesn't make me a pure woman. Which pure woman? As for you, oh my God, all women should be like you. No, not all women should be like me, because not all men can handle. Very few men can deal. I envy your husband. I'm like, come, let me tell you, the man you envy. My husband was living peacefully in London. Half of the people from his village live in London. They live in Mitcham. If you go to Mitcham or Croydon, half of the residents of Mitcham and Croydon are his people. Immediate family, extended family, living in Mitcham and Croydon. He is a royal from the village. Everybody knows him. And he has a great circle around him automatically in Mitcham and in Croydon. Every Sunday morning, he would get up and he would go to Mitcham, to his uncle's place. He would be there minding his business. A phone call will come. Oh, come to the house, blah, blah. And at the time, he would go to his uncle's house. There were two blood uncles that live in that area. So he would go to one of their houses. He would go and wash their cars. He would go and read to the children, or whatever else was the flavor of the month. Yeah. And that's the thing, Sister Joyce, you must have your boxes. We all do have boxes. And some of you are not even conscious of your boxes. That's where you need to go and work. You need to know your boxes. You need to know how to take it. And you need to understand that the other person you are also operating with will have boxes, should have boxes, and they should be ticking them. And if you are both smart, you will encourage each one. Joshua, you will encourage each other to check and make sure that they are conscious of the boxes and that they are making choices in line with conscious box ticking. When a person makes conscious box ticks and they make a move, they make a decision, that move is likely to be one that prevails, because it is rooted in understanding, it is rooted in beliefs. A person knows why they are choosing you. That's more important. Anyway, I went into the situation in Mitcham and Croydon, and I looked at my husband dancing to go and wash car, to go and pick this person from airport, to go and do this. I looked at that guy, and I realized that that thing was not going to take a box for me. So I called Guy and I said, hey Guy, this Saturday thing, Sunday morning thing that you become a car wash, it's very cute, it's very nice, but it's not going to work for family life, you know. You and I will go to work Monday to Friday. We'll do shopping on Saturday. And Sunday morning we might do church, and then we need to spend some time together. How are we going to do it? So we sat down, we had conversations. In fact, when he began to change the initial stages of my introduction to the extended family was aggressive. People came up with stories. Some of those stories were on tribal lines. People from this tribe. And I'm like, tribe? I'm not fancy, yo. I know you've picked up a connection, but myself, I'm not fancy. My connection to the central region of Ghana is in Winneba. The people in Winneba are not fancies. We are Guans. We are a Futu. And even a Futu, my grandfather is a Futu. That's 25% of my genes only. The other 75% are elsewhere. And she is too aggressive. And she is too hoo-hoo. And she's too hoo-ha-ha. And yeah, I knew. I heard. I saw. And other people would be like, why is it that you know all this and you're not mad? I'm not mad, because I understood that those people were having their boxes ticked and it was getting withdrawn. If he didn't come on Sunday, he was not running the errands that he was doing for them. He was withdrawing from the service that he had rendered, and that was going to go. And those who enjoyed those service, who likes it when your servant runs? Who likes it when you lose a faithful servant? Nobody does. So some of these things, they are reactions to change. And when a person reacts to change, you don't get mad. And people are like, you're very strange. I'm very strange because probably I understand how life works. And by application of this simple understanding of how it works and how it's going to go, there aren't many surprises. And that's how you get emotional regulation. You do. You need to understand life. You need to make sense of some things. You need to make peace with some things. And then you can live well. My husband is not unconditionally in love with me. That's crazy. That's a stupid assumption. He loves me, he likes me and all those things for a reason. Some of it may be personality traits. Some of it may be what I bring to the table. Some of it may be, but there is a reason. There is a reason. And if you have been making choices without considering the reasons why, you have been making stupid, blind choices, you need to change it. You need to be making choices based on understanding of the reasons why it is in your interest to make those choices. If you make choices like that and you know the reasons why it's in your interest, you don't change your mind frequently. You don't change your mind. Yeah, I'm telling you the secret behind not changing my mind. Before I move, I am clear of the reasons why. And so when I move, I remain clear of the reasons why. And because the reasons are clear, it doesn't change my desire to still operate in the same way. 20-something years down the line, do I still want to marry the same man? Yeah. Not because he has remained the same man physically, but his fundamentals, his morals, his beliefs, those are still the same. The choices he's likely to make are very similar to the choices he would have made he was a loyal guy from the very beginning. He was loyal to people and he was cleaning their cars. He was loyal to people and he was hanging around them. He spent time with people he cared about. I looked at that and I'm like, oh, okay. If this guy likes to spend time with people he cares about, if me and my children become people he cares about, he will spend some time with us. And yeah, he likes spending time with me and my children because that is his value system. He wants to spend time with people he cares about. And because we have become people he cares about, guess what? I was telling you the conditions. When I looked at my husband, I figured that guy was so well established in a social pattern that if I wanted him to live the life that he would live with me, if I wanted to have the space to grow with this guy, if I wanted to be able to sit and chill with him without a lot of interruption, there needed to be a disruption. And those who were initially not very big fans of me and my introduction, they were proved right. They were not bad judges of character. They read me right. I am not one who will sit around and cry over. I am one who is likely to act to change. They sensed it from get-go. And so very quickly I told my husband we were going to buy. So we looked in the Mitcham area. We couldn't find houses that we liked. When we didn't see a house we liked, this was me doing a fist pump. We looked in Croydon. Didn't find a house we could afford and liked. Another fist pump. We looked around Greater London. We did not find a place that we liked. Fist punch. Then we did all the wider area. We went to Colchester in Essex. We went to all sorts of places, looked at houses. We didn't either like the houses or we didn't like the price or a combination of both. So I said to the guy, we might have to look further. That was obviously tactical. We needed to go to a place where there were no foundational establishments, where we could set up new patterns. So we upped sticks. We bought a house in Manchester. You couldn't ring him to come to Manchester to wash your car. This guy was going to be the head of my home. No, he himself was already established in some of these patterns. I was going to build a figurehead for my home. And no, the figurehead for my home is not a car wash operative. He will not be washing anybody's car every week. No. The figurehead of my home was going to be a leader. He was going to have time to spend with his people. He was going to do respectable things. So we went to Manchester. And then the complaints started. We said it. See, she has moved him to Manchester. Again, I didn't begrudge anybody because it was true. I had moved him to Manchester. I had taken him away from the system. We were going to a new place to build new things. So we did. We went to Manchester. We built new things. You have to take boxes. He was taking my box of wanting to reorganize in order to accommodate the family we were going to build. So we went to Manchester. We lived very well in Manchester for a while. And then the next level of making progress came to mind. Look, we is living in Manchester. We is doing all right in Manchester, but we can do better in other places. Hi, Lois. For example, a friend of mine had come here. So I shared with him what my friend was saying. Basma, how are you doing? A friend of mine had come here, so I shared what my friend was doing. A few other people were here. We sat and we did calculations. When we did the calculations, I said to my husband, do you trust me? He said, yes, good. And I trust you. So, let's go. We sold and gifted everything we owned in that Manchester house. Each one of us had one suitcase and one carry-on. I had a job when we were coming here. He quit his job to come. We took our kids from school to come. We came to this place. But remember my original value system. I needed a guy who respected me, who trusted my opinion beyond my nyash. A guy whose interest in me was not just because of my bedmatics. I wanted a guy whose interest in me transcended that and went to my brain and its capacity to think tactically. A guy who could think tactically alongside me. And so he came. We came together on this adventure. The guy I wanted, who was willing to build. We were back here with nothing. And so he needed to build. He went back and did requalification. Of all the things I needed in a guy, I didn't need already made money. I needed malleability, the willingness to change, the willingness to move, the willingness to see a vision and to strive towards the vision. That's what I needed. That's what I wanted. Thankfully, I figured that out and I found one who does that. Already, we've lived here a decade and my husband and I, we are talking. Where would be the next best place to be? These are the boxes I needed to take in a spouse. I suppose he will tell you one day the boxes he needed to take in a spouse. I wanted a guy who would be versatile, who would do with me, who would go with me. Because me, I don't mind going. I don't mind doing. Does that make my love unconditional just because I was not looking for money? This is the tomfoolery that a lot of people peddle. And look at you. You didn't marry for money. So you think that I married without thinking. I didn't marry for money. I married for my own conditions. I married for freedom. I married for freedom. I married for the capacity to grow. A guy who doesn't compete with me. That's what I wanted. A guy who is so rock solid in his confidence that he can let you grow and doesn't need to clip your wings to feel big. That was my fundamental factor. Yeah, I was looking for that. Boy, it's all conditional. Don't think. If one day my husband chose that he was going to cage me and he was going to stop me from growing and he was going to, it will be problems, because those are some of the non-negotiable conditions, but there are always conditions. Repeat after me. It is always conditional. Because fundamentally, everybody is looking for the agenda. Everybody is looking to make sure the agenda is served. You may face it pragmatically. You may run away from it. You may pretend that's not the case. But baby, you can't run away really. That is how it is. Why am I telling you this story on the 31st of December? I want to tell you this story so that moving forward in the relationships that you build, whatever those relationships are, if you employ me as somebody who works in your company, understand that I come with conditions. If those conditions are met, your company will be the best one for me and I will stay there for years. If you know those conditions, and if I'm that important for you to keep, you will know how to maintain those conditions. As I just told you, freedom is one of the things that is fundamental to me. And so my husband will always say to people will do things, especially in the extended family, in an attempt to clip me, to regulate me. And my husband's very famous words are, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Yeah, she's a grown adult. She doesn't need anybody to raise her. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not a good thing to do. Leave her alone. Because he understands the conditions of our engagement rest on people leaving me alone to do, people trusting that I have a brain and I can use it. Him believing in my vision. I come up with crazy ideas and he's on board. That is his way of letting me know that he believes in my vision. And those conditions are important. If you ask that guy, he'll tell you, if he's honest and sincere, it's not all my visions that he's on board with and he's excited by crazily from the beginning, but he understands that fundamental condition of support. And so he will try his best to support. If he's not 100% capable of support, I also will respect that and we will move. As long as you meet the conditions, you preserve the relationships. There are so many of you who marry a woman who was looking for a provider. You bring her home and then you suddenly tell her to pay bills. No, her conditions were not to pay bills. That relationship will be doomed. She didn't come here to pay bills. She was never raised to pay bills. She is not interested in paying bills. So if you ask her suddenly to pay bills, when the condition of your recruitment was to be the sponsor, matter don't come. Matter don't come be that. If you change the conditions, hey, you might change the outcomes. It's funny. Some of these things for me are so fundamental. I thought that everybody understood it, but apparently people don't. So I'm hoping that this video allows you to pivot to reality, to understand exactly what happens, and then maybe have different expectations of the choices you make so that your heart is not unnecessarily broken. A girl is looking for a soft life. Those are her conditions. You go promising her the soft life, and then you change the game in the middle. I lost my job. And you lost your job, and suddenly a girl who is after a soft life has had to come and do the hard life. She wouldn't do it. Why didn't she see poor men before she married you? And there were poor men in the street before she married you. Are you the only poor man now? No. There are more experienced poor men who were in the street before you joined. And for those very experienced poor men, imagine, just imagine how she ignored them and disregarded. Yeah, that is the same way she will ignore and disregard. When you were not a poor man, she did not treat you like a poor man. Now that you are a poor man, she will treat you like a poor man. Why is that a shock to some of you? I cannot believe. That's how she treats poor people. That is how she treats poor people. She didn't treat you like that before because you were not poor. She's treating you like that now because you is poor. Why is that so difficult for you to understand? Emma, why does she not want to be with me? Because you have changed the conditions. You refuse to satisfy the conditions. And if you don't satisfy the conditions, well, the engagement is done. Exactly. It should be simple. So, for example, if you want to remain in a relationship with Amma, and you understand that this Amma likes freedom, and I like liberty, then you must be freedom fostering. You must be liberty fostering. If you are freedom fostering, liberty fostering, the conditions are met. This girl, I don't understand what to do. I will be singing and dancing about you. My husband is the best thing that could have happened to me in the pursuit of a relationship. He is a confident guy who can let you grow and not disturb your peace. When the doctorate degree was finally done and we were busy celebrating, a phone call came. My husband took it. The person says, Oga, now she don't go be doctor. What is going to happen? And he took the phone to the side. I was just curious. I was listening in. Happy New Year, Albert. May the new year be better. May it surpass all the others. May you have the common sense to pursue what you want so that you can get it. Linda. Hey! Our wife is a doctor. What are we going to do? First thing that comes out of my husband's mouth, which is the reason why I know that my achievements don't concern him. They don't bother him. He is happy for me. He doesn't want to compete. He always says he has other competitors. I'm not one of them. When the person brought it, my husband says, you didn't know I've been a doctor all along. And the person says, what doctor? What doctor? Guess the first thing that came out of his mouth. You would say, and when he said that, I knew my choice was still right. Yeah, my conditions were still being met. He is still the man of my dreams, the one who fits the frame perfectly. The first thing he says, but me, I be doctor already. The person says, what kind of doctor be that? He looks deadpan, and my husband, he looks serious to a lot of people. But he's not always the most serious of them. The next thing that comes out of his mouth is, I have been a native doctor for a long time. She's the academic doctor. I am the native doctor. Why does that matter? It matters because, see, he's somebody who's processed it and he's cool. He already had his framework and he had framed it in humor. He's working on his own things. He's going in the direction he wants to go. What I bring to the table doesn't need to be what he brings to the table. We are not competitors. We are teammates. I cannot do what he does. And he said, we do these things, the cleanses that people recommend you do. Put 1 cinnamon stick, add 3 bay leaves. The minute he started this, he took over that nonsense and it's now become his running joke. He does his concoctions as a native doctor. If a guy is able to play like that, it tells you that in his internal systems there isn't a conflict. He's comfortable. A guy had to be comfortable with me growing because I intend to grow. I intend to grow. The guy I am with needed to be comfortable with me becoming because I intend to become. And knowing that I wanted to become, I intended to become, I checked that box with many people. There are guys who say to me, well, when we marry, you will have to stay home and take care of the kids. You wouldn't even finish that sentence. I was gone. Stay where? And take care of whom? Me or moi? No. It will bring me mental illness. When I first got married, the socialization worked and it beat me into submission. So I have told you, when I would come home to try and get food on his table at whatever, within 30 minutes of him arriving at the house, we were eating uncooked food. I've told you this story before. The other thing, I got pregnant. Yeah, the social systems kicked in, teaching me how to wife, how to mother. Oh my God. And the expectation is that you go off on 6 months maternity leave. That was before now in England, where it's become 12 months. But at the time, it was 6 months maternity leave. That was standard. So when I was pregnant, 6 months maternity leave now, I signed off, and I was going to have this baby in March, and I will be back April, May, June, July, August, September. I'll come in October. Okay, there we go. And I went and had a baby. Had a baby in March. In April, I looked in my bank account. In May, I looked in my bank account. And now, in hindsight, my bank account then was not even a problem. What my problem was that the income was not flowing in, because I was in a job that had commissions. So I was earning my base salary. I wasn't working, so none of the commissions were coming. My income had changed. Whoa! What kind of pitiful money am I seeing in my bank account? Yeah. The things I could buy began to change. And me, I was never programmed to go to a man to ask. And it was not something I was learning well. By the end of May, I could feel in my spirit, all was not well. But the conflict was, I loved the baby. I was so happy to be a mama. Spending time with the baby, he didn't speak. So I was the baby's maid servant, really. He didn't speak. He didn't interact. He didn't do much. My needs were not being met. One day, towards the middle of June, I woke up, and we had the nursery had a big window facing our streets. I went to stand in that window, and I saw only one car. All the other people who didn't work didn't have cars. The people on benefits did not have cars. Everybody who had a car worked. My husband had a car, and he worked, and he had moved his car. The only person whose car remained, even the pensioners who were across our house. At this time, the pensioners, they go for activities. It was a lovely, very accomplished man and his wife. Those were living the goals. Every morning, round about 8, the guy will come and park the car. He will reverse, and then he will put things in and whatnot. And then he will go and get his wife, and they'll come in the car. She'll come with a picnic basket, and she'll put things. You knew those people were living. Even those people were gone. And I remember that feeling as if it just happened. Oh my word. Everybody is moving on, and they have left me behind. And that thought saddened me so much. I spent that morning thinking and crying. But also, fortunately for me, somewhere my brains were still there. And my brains thought, hang on, you are not supposed to cry because people went to work and leave you. No. And it makes you feel like they've left you behind. Come on, call the health visitor. So around about midday, I picked the phone and I called the health visitor, and I said to her, look, this is what happened today. And she says, girl, that is one of the first indicators of postnatal depression. You are reassessing your value, and you are not measuring up to your standard. And the best thing you can do is to quickly return to work. And so I had the baby in March. On the 7th of July, when the London bombing happened, I was on my way to go sign the documents in HR that said that I was waiving my right to maternity leave, and I was It was me and the baby in a taxi. I was in the taxi when it happened. The taxi driver and his news channel is how we heard. Yeah. And I was back in work by the 10th of July. I was back in work. The money started flowing in my bank account. My self-esteem started restoring itself. And the rest, they say, is history. You've got to know you. You've got to understand you. You've got to know the conditions that have to be met for you to be satisfied. You've got to know those for sure. And then you get in the ecosystem, and you should not be shy to pursue those things. And if a person likes you, you also need to explore their value system, see how you fit in their value system. If you fit snugly in the value system, you are likely to remain relevant for a long time. If you don't fit in their value system, it will be an issue. So there were guys who would say to me that, oh, you are so beautiful. That was it. I was not interested in a word you said past that point, because I was also very clear that this will happen to my body. Those who knew me in my youth, when they see me in this state, they probably just vomit. You see how my daughter is. If I was in another place, I should have modeled. I could have modeled. I was so skinny. All my features were model features. If a guy said he liked me because I looked nice, that was it, because I knew my looks would change. I had seen my mother's pictures before. I knew what my mother looked like. And I saw the changes that had happened to my mother. And I was smart enough to know that some of those changes were on their way for me. So if a guy was liking my flat stomach, after 2 children, now I have a pumpkin, what would that guy do now? I will revolt him. And that's why some men turn around and they are revolted by their women. They chose, the condition of their choice was superficial. It was. Some of the women knew, some of them didn't. He likes you for your flat stomach. And sister, you better maintain the flat stomach. Because if you change the condition, the engagement may change. And if you look and those conditions are fickle, they are not likely to be maintained, then maybe getting into that equation is not tactical. A guy likes you because of your money. You better learn to maintain the money. A girl likes you because of your money. You better maintain the money. As long as the money is maintained, all will be well. Don't go and get broke if you have attracted somebody who needs money. Because when you are broke, you will no longer be her taste. And no, that's not because she's a bad person. That's just how life is. I wanted to use really practical examples to illustrate a simple premise to you. It is all conditional. Everything is conditional. At the moment, my job is no longer doing it for me. You know why? I chose my job because I wanted a place to research. Yeah. At that time, the conditions there were perfect for what I needed. I also needed a place where you can grow and become. That was not what they promised me. And so now, I want out of my job because I want to be in a place where I have control. Maybe lecturing in a university, but more likely to go and work for myself. Does that make my workplace a bad place? No, it's a good place for what it is. It's a school. They have fixed working hours. No, they cannot let me alone come at 11 o'clock when the children were there at 7. That's how it is. Sometimes it's you who changes the condition. So at the moment, that relationship is not working. And it's nothing to do with the school. It's me. It's me. And when that happens, you've got to move. That's why people change jobs. When you first came, you were junior rank and you need to move on. Me, for example, I need to move. People ask me all the time and they expect me to be mad. Nobody in my school actually addresses me by my title. They should. I've worked really hard for that title. But when they met me, I was Mrs. So for a person to flick the switch, some of them have, it's intentional, it's conscious. For some people, it's difficult. It's very difficult for people to do the flick. And sometimes for that condition, as a friend, most of my friends who were in my courses have changed jobs. Those who didn't change jobs were in places that were versatile. But yeah, this is important. One of my classmates was telling me that he's changed everything to his correct title, including his bank card. His bank card, his post office, whatever, everything has his correct title. Me, I haven't done a thing with mine. Yeah. I haven't done anything with mine. I should. Sometimes you need to understand your conditions so that when your feelings about something change, you can interrogate why. The way my feelings changed about my workplace required that I sat down to think, what has changed at this workplace? Nothing. Nothing has changed about the workplace. Nothing. Most of the people are still there. Nothing. Why is it that my feeling about the place has changed? Because the place it was serving a temporary purpose. That purpose is fulfilled. And that's why you've got to be very careful in making choices so that you don't choose based on temporary need. You are poor, and so you want a guy to satisfy your poverty. He will satisfy your poverty, and one day your belly will be full. Then what happens with that guy? You have married the ugliest, richest man there is in your village. Okay, he will start giving you money, and you yourself will siphon some of the money. Doesn't need to be stolen. It could be gifts, it could be whatever, but he will give you money. And one day, you yourself will have enough money in your bank account. That day, how will you justify to yourself to continue with a guy you found ugly, to a guy you knew was too old for you, to a guy you knew was outside your class, to a guy you know does not fit your frame? You made that choice based on a temporary need. Temporary. And that relationship was doomed from the beginning. The day your need is met, the conditions change. He will not satisfy anymore. Hey, yeah. I'm telling you all this because at the end, I'm not asking you to go and disturb anybody. I'm asking you to sit down and identify your conditions. Be clear of your boxes. Clara, know which ones are temporary and know which ones are non-negotiable. And I recommend that when you are making choices, make them in line with your non-negotiables. If you are able to do that, your decisions don't change. Your decisions don't change. If you look on my CV, 8 years, how many years? 6 years, approaching 7. I stay in places because I tend to align even my jobs with long-term goals. I'm not one who moves haphazardly. No, I don't. Yeah. Because I match them with long-term goals, not just with the salary. Salary is nice, but sometimes we might even forfeit on the salary to look at growth potential. My first permanent job was in a place where there were a lot of black kids. That time in education in Manchester, the needs of black kids were not being met properly. I wanted to go and be one of those people to role model, and I did. Yeah, those things. Those long-term goals. Dennis, those long-term goals are the things you should structure choices, long-term choices on. Anyway, I love you. I need to get back to those on my TikTok. I need to get back also to learning my speech. I think I have done enough of a gift for the wrap-up of 2025. Save the video. watch the video, pull your book, think with the video, and hopefully you make some alignments, adjustments. That would mean that your relationships are more reasonable going forward, and hopefully it helps you to understand your relationships better, and you are less erratic in your decisions around relationship and your consideration of people who are tactical. Stupid people form relationships without tactics. And I've said it, stupid people form relationships without tactics. The people who are being tactical in their relationship building are actually being smart. Stop disturbing their peace. She is a gold digger. Yeah, she wants gold. So if she doesn't dig for gold, what will she find? Huh? Yeah, that's what she wants. And she knows what to look for. You are mourning because you don't know what to look for. You don't know what you need and want. And that's why. Most of these noise, it's from jealousy. Somebody's got their life figured out in ways you haven't. Stop disturbing their peace. It is your responsibility to fix your life, not theirs. Assalamu alaikum. It means may the peace of the Lord be with you. Every time I say it, why are you? It's not a religion, it's a language. Salamu alaikum is a language. It's called Arabic. No, it's not Islamic. It also happens to be the language that those who practice Islam speak. The peace of the Lord be with you is English. It's not Christianity. It is a prayer for you in a language. Stella. So, assalamu alaikum. It's the most beautiful of the greetings. May the peace of the Lord be with you. May He answer our prayers. Whilst you are considering your 2025 and thinking back to what you did and didn't do, I hope peace finds you so that your spirit is not aggrieved because you wasted a year. Sister Joyce, that's it. This new year, let us all engage. I'll be back here. Those of you who run businesses, those of you who should run businesses, I'll come and do the survival address this afternoon. But for now, let me go and work on my speech, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.